Hello people, I'm back with a video of a tournament battle between myself and Tank. This was fought a couple weeks ago in a Rubber Duck of War's Death Before Dishonor tournament. At this stage, Tank is leading 1-0, and I picked Greenskins and he picked Vampire Counts against that. Kinda as I expected and kinda what I wanted, because I had a new build that I wanted to try out. You can see my Mittens are basking in a glorious holy light here. There's 5 of them. There's the 8-peak loonies. There's a giant, the rogue idol, Black Orc Big Boss, Azag the Slaughter, the swamp things. Take a closer look at my army once it's deployed. It's quite interesting, if I do say so myself. Let's, in the meantime, take a look at Tank's army. He's gone very wide. The last time I played this matchup, I took a lot of archers, so I think that might be the reason he did that. He's brought the Dire Pack, 4 Crypt Ghouls, 4 skeletons, or is it 5 skeletons? I believe it's 5 skeletons. He has the Fellbats, 2 Banshees, 2 Varghulfs, 1 unit of Graveguard, Great Weapons, and a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. As a Nehek, Panel's Dance Macabre, and Ray's Dead. Now he is on foot. It's something you actually don't see that often, but I do think it makes sense to go for that. Because, well, recently the fermented fungi were added, so if you go for something like Mortis Engine or a Dragon, it can really backfire on you. Because the Greenskins could put some damage on that unit, lock it down with the fermented fungi, it loses pretty much all of its melee defense and then it gets killed. That's a very likely scenario if you go for those units. So Tank kind of accounting for that by putting less money into his Lord and more into other things. Now this is a tournament battle, so you have to abide by the attacking rule, but against Vampire Counts it's very easy to abide by the attacking rule. I'm just positioning myself here. Right now neither of us is attacking, but the only way Vampire Counts can attack you is if they're in melee, so you can just patiently wait for them. In this case, I also took a full melee army, so we're kind of on even ground there. But against a faction that could shoot me, this wouldn't fly. Of course, with Vampire Counts, you know they're not going to be able to shoot you. They can't harass you with spells without having other units engaged, at least under the tournament setting. So I'm pretty safe in my little box here, or whatever you want to call this. So the Orc Biggins, they have 97 leadership, thanks to the buffs provided by Azag and BOBB. They also have 57 melee attack, guys, and in addition to that, another buff from Azag is going to come in once the combat starts. Now Azag, he's actually brought just a Spirit Leech because I always expect double Banshee. It's sort of the go-to pick. They've always been popular against Greenskins, but these days it's even more common to see the double Banshee, so I'm gonna bring the Spirit Leeches down here. Now, it is a counter to them, but at the same time, you have to be a little bit lucky with RNG rolls, and this first Spirit Leech, you can see it's currently not doing any damage. I think that was only like 1 or 2 ticks of damage, so yeah, if you get unlucky there, you might actually not have enough Spirit Leeches to finish off those Banshees. Tank going to come in. It's a little position next to the lake, going to allow me to keep some troops in reserve. Mr. Stompy, he's just waiting to greet the skeletons and crypt ghouls with a big hug. And here the bug, it's not a bug, it's a buff, comes in onto the Orc Biggins, and you can see now they have 52 melee defense and 80 armor as well, so they're very beefy. Now, Mr. Smashy here is currently doing a little dance. It seems like he's unsure whether he wants to engage. I believe he's spent too much time clubbing with Wurzag. You look at him right now. He's got the moves. He's definitely got the moves. Look at him go. Really nice. So yeah, I do recall him getting an attack order, I think, but it seems he's kind of derping out not wanting to fight through his own troops too much. Keep in mind I'm still relatively new to controlling this unit. Don't use it much. This flank is already being driven off, maybe intentionally by tank, trying to get these units out of the AoE, but I am going to pull back Mr. Smashy and Orc Biggins here. Now, tank, I think, realizes at this point that these Biggins are pretty much unbreakable. At, you know, normal circumstances, or in normal circumstances, they would have been routed by fear and terror by this time, but the big belly flop here is going to force back Fluffy and Mittens as they try to go for Azak the Slaughterer and Bob. Azak the Slaughterer and Bob just have to stay near the center. They're ready for some good crumping, and it will probably get to that point, but right now they just need to stay in the right position so everyone can get these buffs. And also let Mr. Smashy do his thing. I love how he puts his head back on anytime he does that belly flop attack. So on this side, one of the Orc Biggins does get routed, and maybe Azak was a little bit too far away to provide that leadership, but you know, if you're only at 10 models, you really expect Orc units to route way before that. So these guys, they have 33 kills, they probably put some good damage on Bargulfs and everything else, and now I'm trying to get the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord out of there. Giant gets a big hit. Another belly flop comes in, but that didn't seem to do too much. And yeah, it's just a big old slugfest. Another thing I want to point out is that the Swamp Things here are reducing everyone's melee attack. Units that reduce melee attack are very powerful against the vampire counts, because they typically don't have the highest stats. Look at these Graveguard, they have only 20 melee attack, which is quite low. And yeah, the dogs, they are anti-large, but tell that to the Rogue Idol. Mr. Smashy barely feels them biting at his kneecaps at all, at his ankles. And I believe Tank is trying to get rid of the characters, but Fluffy or Mittens, I can never tell them apart. He's very low here, and her sister is like, get out of here, go over there where it's safe. She's gonna get out of there, but she might just crumble out. Argos, very good units, not really the best leadership though. Now, the Banshees, they have been continuously spirit leeched, but also a Rogue Idol who's smashing them right now can do a lot of damage to them, despite not having any magical damage, because if you look at him, it's still 600 damage. Well, it isn't 600 damage yet, but when he loses a bit of health, it will be. There's still a lot of damage. And everything here really deals a lot of damage. And Banshees, yeah, they negate some of it. They also have pretty low health. So, in this sort of grindy fight with a lot of infantry, you can eventually grind it out, even against Banshees. Problem is, when you let them attack high-value targets like your Giants, you can see the Giant took a lot of damage here from mostly the Banshees, actually. So Fluffy takes another big hit here from Giant, and she's about to go down. Another big hit there, and she's gone. Mittens says, I'm out of here. While the Rogue Idol, Mr. Smashy, goes in for a hug, but he's not getting it, so he's going back into the fray here. Azak is in a bit of trouble from double Banshees. Death by Snoo Snoo it shall be. But he's basically the only unit I'm really having to micro here. This box formation. And the big Rogue Idol just comes in and saves him. So I'm just keeping him within his own units. Mittens comes in for revenge. But Azak, you know, with that melee defense buff, is harder to kill than he used to be. And the Giant just doing continuous damage there. Bob is actually falling low. He was fighting this Blood Dragon Vampire Lord earlier while he had the Helm of Discord on him. It's really the focus of these Banshees attacks, but he's no slouch either. He has pretty good stats. Gonna go down easily. 74 attack, 55 defense. Could definitely be worse. And Mr. Smashy is still standing. Banshees are crumbling. All of my single entity units are still standing. The Biggins are just not routing. Swamp Things here. Azek's Art Armor comes in. And the 8-peak loonies, some of them are still left. Always good to have your units saturated in infantry. Situations like this especially. Yeah, it looks like the vampire counts, the full melee faction, is getting outgrinded by a faction that has more different unit types than they do. Especially missile troops. It's actually something that can happen to them in a lot of matchups. Think of Wood Elves, Dark Elves, High Elves, they can all do it. There's other factions, like even Ghost, that can do it. And yeah, Tank, he obviously was expecting a wider build. He told me as much after the battle. Archers and stuff. But that's the kind of guessing game that vampire counts usually tend to lose. Whereas for the opponent, it's usually pretty safe. Go for either option. And Tank, to be fair to him, he did end up winning that series 2-1. He went on to win the entire tournament. So he was definitely in good shape on that day. He was the better player on that day. Excuse me. But he was, well, beaten by something that requires no micro at all. And that's the fate of vampire counts in the current game, guys. Something they might want to take a look at. I think when buffing abilities get to the point where they can affect your entire army and you have multiple of them, things can get kind of out of control pretty fast. Remember, vampire counts, yes, they have fear and terror on all their units, but they also pay for it on all their units. Well, they don't have terror on all their units, they have fear on all their units and terror on some units. But whether you have one fear unit or one terror unit or multiple, it doesn't really stack. So that's already not such a good thing, that you have all these units that have fear and terror, but you're basically paying for it more times than you would like. And then you come into a battle, and there's this one unit, the Skaven have it as well, that negates all the fear and terror you have for the entire battle. Something that's supposed to be your strength just turns against you because it's a useless investment at that point. You can't not invest in it. You can't easily get rid of Mr. Bob here either. So, with that being said, let me know what you think of the current state of vampire counts. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.